Hey guys, it's Rusty Smith from Record Mix Repeat. This is going to be a short video about UAD's Spark subscription program and whether or not it's a good thing for you to have. Depends upon your circumstances. Let's get right to it. Alright, what is Spark? Spark is a subscription service by UAD where the subscriber has access to UADX plugins and instruments. These plugins and instruments are designed to run natively on your computer's processor instead of a UAD interface processor. That means they do not run with near zero latency. Now, most UAD customers got on board with UAD because of this near zero latency. They could record almost in real time, which meant their performances felt better. Having access to UAD plugins that have near zero latency meant you had to have a UAD audio interface that supported that near real-time latency. Some of these interfaces were pretty expensive, having more processing power, more inputs, more outputs. UAD also manufactured some interfaces that were less expensive, having fewer inputs and outputs and less processing power. However, you did have to have one of those interfaces to support the near zero latency. So we're going to take a look at the different kinds of UAD customers out there and see whether Spark would be a good fit for them or not. The first UAD customer being the customer who does not own a UAD interface but has heard about how great UAD plugins sound. The second customer is the guy who does own a UAD interface and has been purchasing UAD plugins for several years. Okay, the first hypothetical UAD customer we're going to talk about is a person who does not own a UAD audio interface, a person who has a different model interface and they have a DAW and they've heard about these UAD plugins and how great they are, they've read about it, etc., and they're now wondering, well, is Spark a good fit for me? Well, let's take a look at what that would be like for that person. Okay, so the first hypothetical customer, let's say we got a guy who does not have an Apollo interface, has heard about how great Apollo plugins are, and is curious about the Spark thing, and they go check it out. So you end up with this thing called UA Connect. You can download the various elements to have access with your DAW. You have instruments. Let's go take a look at a few of them right now. The piano is very useful. Just recorded a little chord thing here. So there, that's what the piano sounds like fundamentally. It has basic tone, volume, and then it has mics. You have closer mics, and then you have mics that are further away. So there's the tone, how it changes, and then you have the mics. You combine that with a few fun things, plugins that's available with Spark, a little chorus, throw it on. Or throw a little reverb on it. They come up with a couple of different reverbs. Here's a plate reverb that comes with Spark. Nice plate. Okay, then they have a wonderful Lexicon 224 reverb. That's a nice little hall. Looks like this. I used to work with these things. I used to actually work with one of these back in the 80s. These are all things that are included with Spark for $20 a month. Okay, the other instruments would be, you have an organ here that you can, it's a B3 simulator. And it has, you can play around with the rotary speaker on it, get more distortion on it if you want. All sorts of cool stuff. That's a real quick look at the organ. This is a poly synth. Analog choir. bunch of different things to choose from here. That's a nice sound. So anyway, it's a poly synth. So there you go. So those are the instruments that come with Spark. Okay, I recorded a little acoustic guitar and vocal thing here. This was straight into my interface with no processing of any kind, just right into the converter and to the DAW. So that's the guitar raw and then the vocal raw.
I'm on my bended knee, begging.
So you put them together.
I'm on my bended knee, begging, won't you listen?
Pretty straight ahead, pretty boring, pretty normal. All right, so I decided to add in a few plugins that come with Spark. This is a tape recorder effect. This is on both things, and then on the acoustic guitar, I put in a little EQ here. I passed a little low frequencies out, put in a little bit of high end on it, took a little bit of mid-range out of it, then I ran it through a compressor here. Here's A being the acoustic guitar before and after. Okay, here it is with the effects. It's just a little smoother, a little tighter. Then I put a little bit of reverb using this pure plate here. And for fun, I put a little bit of chorus on the guitar. Then on the vocal dry.
I'm on my bended knee.
Okay, I put in the tape recorder effect that I have on the guitar, same thing. I put in a little bit of EQ and ran it through this Neve preamp here that gives it a little bit of sonic character. And then on top of that, I ran it through this leveling amplifier, this compressor. Here's the before and after of the voice. Here's the dry.
I'm on my bended knee, begging, won't you?
All right, with the plugins.
I'm on my bended knee, begging, won't you listen to me?
So it's just a little bit brighter and it's a little bit smoother. Then I ran it through this reverb.
I'm on my bended knee, begging, won't you listen?
Okay, here's both tracks with all the plugins.
I'm on my bended knee, begging, won't you listen to me? You're causing so much pain, crushing anybody that gets in your way.
No plugins.
I'm on my bended knee.
Plugins.
I'm on my bended knee.
They are really nice plugins, the UAD plugins. So for our first hypothetical UAD customer who does not own a UAD interface and has heard about how great UAD plugins are, $20 a month to get this array of really killer UAD plugins is a good deal in my opinion. You get access to some great instruments, you get access to these excellent reverbs, these excellent compressors, these excellent, chorus effects, tons of really cool stuff that, being a person who has bought these along the way, you would have spent, probably $1,000 to get your hands on that number of plugins. So yeah, $20 a month, that's a good deal. And they plan to expand the UADX repertoire of plugins, collection of plugins. So it's probably going to just get better. So let's talk about another hypothetical customer, the UAD customer who already owns a UAD interface and has been buying the plugins for years and has spent a couple of $1,000 on the interface, maybe $3,000 on an interface, maybe $2,000. Doesn't matter. They've spent a lot of money on the interface, but they've also spent a fair amount of money on collecting plugins and virtual amps and what have you, and they've racked up spending $4,000, $5,000 with Universal Audio. Been a great investment in my opinion. I'm one of these people. I mean, you get the near zero latency, you get the great situation of a killer interface, you get these great plugins. You've spent a lot of money, but hey, you get what you pay for in this life. Now, is Spark worth it to that customer, being me, when you get right down to it? I did the 14-day trial, and I got to tell you, I came to the conclusion that what I would gain out of that $20 a month was a couple of virtual instruments that are pretty good, and that's about it. You know, the rest of it was stuff I already owned, and or I had plugins that were very similar. So yeah, the second customer, that hypothetical customer being me, it's not worth that $20, in my opinion. This is Rusty Smith for Record, Mix, Repeat. Hope this helped you out.